Hey y'all, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I wanted to talk a little bit more about pheochromocytoma, also known as Pheo, which is a lot easier to pronounce. It is just such an extremely complex and rare disease slash cancer, which is why I wanted to do a little bit of an intermission and do another educational type of video to hopefully bring some more clarity to some of the stuff that I'm saying, and hopefully this way stuff makes a little bit more sense. I welcome all questions, guys. I'm seriously so excited when anybody asks anything about this cancer slash disease. It's definitely a great thing when people ask questions because knowledge is power. All I ask is if you're going to ask me questions, just make sure to do it compassionately, and we're golden, guys. Like with most rare diseases, we don't know, is it really that rare or is it rarely diagnosed? It's hard to tell at this point. They have not been doing enough consistent research, in my opinion, until probably more recently, it seems. For the longest time, a lot of people did just pass and do still just pass from complications with this tumor because it's not always something that doctors look for multiple reasons. A lot of doctors are told that you'll never meet somebody with this type of tumor in your career. Additionally, pheochromocytoma also mimics so many other diseases. And I mean, the symptoms that they originally would just list when you look up a Pheo, first of all, that's not all the symptoms. And they are extremely, extremely vague. So usually when you're pulling up Pheo symptoms, you're looking at things like, oh, tachycardia, high blood pressure, maybe chest pain. It definitely does not give you a full picture of everything this tumor is capable of. So there is, like I was saying, just a huge gap in the research and just so much that is unknown about this monster, to be honest. And I think that's really the nerve-wracking part at times for patients. I'll tell you how many physicians at my old hospital told me, you can't have a Pheo. They told me in medical school that we'd never meet anybody like that in our career. So they really feel like that we're unicorns, I think, to be honest with you. And man, have I learned that I am really a unicorn, guys. Like the amount of rare things with this new rare thing, like the Pheo stuff, oh my gosh, I'm like so rare. I feel like they're gonna like start writing like research papers on me or something, right? Oh my goodness. So typically, y'all, it takes over 4 years for your first tumor to be found. They are so difficult to locate for countless reasons. As I already mentioned many times, the physician just doesn't look. Again, for many reasons, they don't look. Some of them don't look because they don't think to look. Others don't look because they're dead convinced that it's something else. And the patient's symptoms, as I said before, are unspecific. For a while, they thought everyone had to have sky-high blood pressure all of the time in order to be diagnosed with this tumor. That is not the case, actually. We're learning that a lot of patients do swing their pressure, like I do. And there is a little group of patients who have Pheo who also have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So some can have close to normal BP for a while, and then others can have really, really high BP just like they want. In order to properly diagnose Pheo, all the tests need to be run according to their protocols. Now, we would sit here and go, obviously, that's common sense. Yeah, no, it's not, guys. I was blown out of the water at how many people like kind of just didn't care about protocol and it's like, yeah, I don't feel like it, or that's not important, or yeah, I know that there's a protocol, but I'm too busy to follow it. I have, more important patients. That line is getting a little bit old. We will dive into that in another video, though. So needless to say, like in my case, and I know so many other cases, the protocols were not all followed. I did know that from the physicians themselves who ran them this time. Even though last year they followed protocol, which was kind of my mind-blowing moment. I was like, y'all, we knew that there was a protocol last year. Why are we not following it this year? Don't know, just wondering. But it is important to, like, if you are suspecting a Pheo, or even just another rare disease, like even take mast cell activation syndrome or other things that are just not as common. It doesn't hurt, guys, to know what protocol is for your test. I know it's so much work. I get it. You really shouldn't have to do all the extra legwork. But guys, sometimes you really have to advocate for yourself and advocate hard. You need to know. Knowing these things can help you to get the accurate diagnosis. And an accurate diagnosis is fundamental, and it is life-changing. It's life-giving, honestly. Because how can you get treatment and thrive if you don't know what disease you have? And sometimes if it's not spun right, your blood, or if it's not kept on ice, your like 24-hour urine, or all these other little things, you can get an inaccurate test result. And then they can tell you, well, you're fine, all your labs are good. And in reality, they're not. There actually is a problem, but they just think you're great because they did the test wrong. And that's not okay. Additionally, your tumor needs to be active at the time of your test. If the tumor is not secreting enough hormone, he's hiding, and that's a very scary thing. So they can stop secreting hormones also randomly, which is another reason it can take an individual so long to get their tumor diagnosed. And then it's all levels of crazy, I swear. So then you can have cells, which we've talked about before, but man, I really, really need to talk to like the Pheo team I have about this, because this is a big concern for me and for my family. We can have cells that were broken off, and okay, I was already told there were cells that were broken off during surgery in my case. So there's Pheo cells floating around somewhere. What they're doing, I'm not sure. I don't know if they've kind of, planted in different places. That makes sense at this point. But I don't know the whole cell thing. We all know I'm a little bit more medically complex than your average gal out there. Like most chronic illness warriors, I've seen tons of physicians over, my lifetime at this point. Some had good hearts and just seriously didn't understand what was going on, but genuinely wanted to help. And I do appreciate whatever help that they were able to give me. And I don't really hold anything like against them whatsoever for like not doing more or helping me properly. I do understand, like, as a teenager, some of the physicians, there were a lot of limitations on them because they were at very tiny hospitals. Then there's other groups of physicians where I kind of am a little bit more annoyed with, that they did have like access to information and would tell me that and then not utilize it. And additionally, there were like conversations of, okay, we might have to utilize a bigger facility down the road. Now, nobody ever sat me and my family down and went, okay, Victoria, these are like your options. We would recommend going to either this hospital, that hospital, this hospital. That was not a conversation. Nobody helped me to navigate my care enough. They kind of went, even for surgery last year, well, I kind of heard that Albany might do the surgery and like he's a great guy and you'll be fine. It was not really explained to me like the whole, first of all, what Pheo was. I went into that surgery, oh my gosh, so blind. Oh my good heavens, it's scary now looking back. I was supposed to do all this other stuff, see all these other physicians, so that was really scary. But my point is if a physician cannot help you, it is their responsibility to also help you navigate your care. Not just go, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. Like, that doesn't do anybody any justice. We're supposed to be a team here. And that is not happening in, I would say, the majority of chronically ill individuals' care at the moment. And that is extremely frustrating.